Hold on to your toques, folks, because things are about to get interesting up north. Canada, the land of endless forests, friendly faces, and a reputation for politeness, is about to shake things up in a way that might surprise you. Yes, the country known for its maple syrup and hockey is making headlines for a very different reason. Canada, that bastion of politeness and maple syrup, just stirred the pot with their southern neighbors. But this isn't about a friendly hockey game or a debate over who makes the best poutine. No, this is something much bigger. British Columbia, the westernmost province, has decided to play hardball. Known for its stunning landscapes and vibrant cities, British Columbia is now at the center of a brewing storm. Their weapon of choice? Tolls. Yes, you heard that right. Tolls on highways that American trucks use to pass through on their way to Alaska. And not just any tolls, mind you. These are significant charges that have caught the attention of many, especially those south of the border. These are tolls aimed squarely at American commercial trucks rumbling through their picturesque landscapes on their way to Alaska. Cue the outrage. The trucking companies are not pleased, and neither are the politicians. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from a war of words, erupted on social media. His tweets were as fiery as ever, and his followers quickly joined in the chorus of discontent. "Unfair!" he roared, his virtual cries echoing across the digital tundra. The message was clear. This was not going to be taken lightly. "Punitive!" he bellowed, threatening swift and merciless retaliation. The tension was palpable, and the stakes were high. Canada, it seems, had poked the bald eagle. The symbolic clash between the two nations was now out in the open for all to see. But what prompted this sudden outburst? What could have driven Canada to take such a bold step? Why is Canada risking the wrath of its powerful neighbor? The answer lies in a complex web of economic and political factors that have been simmering for some time. And what does Alaska, that land of glaciers and grizzlies, have to do with any of this? The connection might not be immediately obvious, but it's crucial to understanding the full picture. Well, grab a double-double and settle in, because we're about to break it all down for you. From the historical context to the current implications, we'll explore every angle of this fascinating story. So, stay tuned as we dive into the details of this highway robbery Canadian style. In a move that surprised many, British Columbia quietly introduced legislation in March 2025. This wasn't some obscure bylaw about moose crossings or lumber tariffs. This was a direct shot across the bow of American trade. The legislation empowers BC to slap tolls on any and all U.S. commercial trucks using their highways to reach Alaska. Think of it as a sort of transit fee, a using our roads to get to your state surcharge. Now, before you go thinking Canadians have suddenly transformed into a nation of ruthless highwaymen, there's a method to their madness. This isn't some arbitrary cash grab. BC Premier David Eby, the man behind the move, insists it's a defensive maneuver, a preemptive strike against what he calls unprecedented threats from the former Trump administration. Donald J. Trump, a man whose love for Twitter is only surpassed by his penchant for hyperbole. Never one to take a perceived slight lying down, Trump unleashed a digital torrent of fury upon hearing BC's news. "Canada is trying to rip us off," he declared to his millions of followers, conveniently sidestepping the irony. "They want to annex Alaska. They'll take everything we have if we let them." Accusations of unfriendly acts and threats of economic retaliation poured forth from Trump's digital megaphone. He even went so far as to dredge up old grievances, reminding the world of his previous 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. Clearly, someone in the Great White North had gotten under his very orange skin. While Trump was busy composing tweet storms, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was taking a decidedly more measured approach. Known for his diplomacy and calm demeanor, Trudeau opted for a strategy of quiet firmness. He stood by his BC counterpart, offering unwavering support for the province's right to protect its interests. "Canada will not be bullied," Trudeau asserted in a carefully worded statement. He reiterated his government's commitment to free and fair trade, but emphasized that Canada would not hesitate to stand up for itself when threatened. He even threw a subtle jab Trump's way, reminding the world that the U.S. had been the first to impose tariffs, disrupting the delicate balance of trade between the two nations. Section 5. Alaska on ice. The economic fallout. Stuck in the middle of this international spat is Alaska, a state more accustomed to dealing with blizzards than trade wars. This remote and rugged state, known for its breathtaking landscapes and extreme weather, now finds itself grappling with economic challenges that are just as harsh as its winters. While most goods flow into Alaska via sea and air, the tolls still pose a significant problem. These tolls, imposed as part of a broader trade dispute, are making it increasingly expensive to import essential goods. From food and clothing to machinery and medical supplies, the cost of living in Alaska is already high, and these additional expenses are only making it worse. The Alaska Highway, that vital artery connecting the last frontier to the rest of the United States, snakes right through British Columbia. This highway is not just a road, it's a lifeline for Alaskans, providing a crucial link for the transport of goods and services. Any disruption or added cost to this route has a ripple effect throughout the state. Truckers, those modern-day pioneers hauling everything from groceries to construction supplies, are fuming. They are the backbone of Alaska's supply chain, and the tolls are hitting them hard. Increased fuel costs, longer travel times, and higher toll fees are all contributing to their frustration. The tolls, they argue, will cripple their businesses, driving up costs and strangling the Alaskan economy. And they're not wrong. Small businesses already operating on thin margins are finding it difficult to absorb these additional costs. Many fear they may have to close their doors if the situation doesn't improve. The added expense of the tolls will inevitably trickle down, impacting consumers and businesses alike. Shoppers are already noticing higher prices on everyday items, and business owners are struggling to keep their shelves stocked. The economic strain is palpable, and the future looks uncertain for many Alaskans. Alaska, it seems, is caught in the crossfire of a trade war, not of its own making. As the state navigates these turbulent economic waters, its residents are left to wonder how long they can weather the storm. The resilience of Alaskans is being tested like never before, and the outcome of this economic fallout remains to be seen. As with any good neighborly dispute, the court of public opinion is abuzz with commentary. The airwaves and social media platforms are filled with heated debates and passionate arguments. People from all walks of life are weighing in, each with their own perspective and personal stake in the matter. Canadians, known for their sense of fair play, are largely in favor of the tolls. They see it as a necessary measure to protect their economy and assert their national pride. Many believe that standing up to the aggressive trade tactics of the Trump administration is not just a matter of policy, but of principle. They see it as a justified response to Trump's aggressive trade tactics. The sentiment is that Canada must defend its interests and ensure that it is not taken advantage of in international trade agreements. This perspective is shared by a broad spectrum of the Canadian populace, from business leaders to everyday citizens. "He started it," is a common refrain, echoing the sentiment that Canada is simply defending itself against a bully. This phrase has become a rallying cry, symbolizing the collective resolve of a nation that feels it must stand firm in the face of external pressure. South of the border, it's a different story. The reaction in the United States, particularly in Alaska, is one of frustration and disappointment. Many Americans feel blindsided by the tolls, viewing them as an unexpected and unwelcome development in the long-standing relationship between the two countries. Americans, particularly those in Alaska, are less than thrilled. The tolls are seen as a direct hit to their daily lives and economic activities. For many, it feels like a personal affront, a betrayal by a neighbor they have long considered a friend and ally. They view the tolls as a betrayal, a violation of the long-standing friendship between the two nations. This sense of betrayal is palpable, with many Alaskans expressing a deep sense of hurt and confusion over how things have escalated to this point. "We're neighbors, for crying out loud," they exclaim, wondering how things got so out of hand. The tolls have sparked a wave of introspection and debate about the nature of the relationship between the United States and Canada, and what it means to be good neighbors in a complex and interconnected world. The tolls have become a symbol of a relationship strained, a stark reminder that even the friendliest of neighbors can have their differences. As both nations navigate this challenging period, the hope is that dialogue and diplomacy will prevail, allowing them to find common ground and rebuild the trust that has been tested. This latest spat between the U.S. and Canada is just another chapter in a long and often tumultuous trading history. These two North American giants, despite their shared border and intertwined economies, have a knack for locking horns over trade. From disagreements over softwood lumber to squabbles over dairy products, the list of past disputes is long and varied. The two countries have a long history of trade agreements, each one painstakingly negotiated and inevitably leading to new points of contention. The truth is, when you're dealing with billions of dollars and the livelihoods of millions of people, things are bound to get a little heated from time to time. With tensions running high and no easy solutions in sight, it's tempting to throw up our hands and declare this trade war a lost cause. But hold on a minute. Amidst all the bluster and posturing, there's a faint glimmer of hope. Both sides, despite their tough talk, have hinted at a willingness to come to the negotiating table. Canada, for its part, has indicated that the tolls are not set in stone. They're more of a bargaining chip, a way to get the U.S attention, and bring them back to the negotiating table. The U.S., while still smarting from Canada's audacity, understands that a full-blown trade war is in no one's best interest. So what does the future hold for this trans-border trucking turmoil? Will cooler heads prevail, or are we destined for a full-blown trade war? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure though, this isn't your grandpappy's friendly neighborly dispute. This is international diplomacy in the age of Twitter, where every tweet is a potential landmine and every press conference a carefully choreographed performance. Buckle up, folks, because this ride is far from over. There will be twists, there will be turns, and there will be more than a few potholes along the way. But hey, that's international relations for you. Always an adventure, rarely boring, and never predictable.